AITAH for leaving my wife because she wants to be a foster parent for her nephew? My wife and I have been together for 7 years. She is 52 and I am 43. When we first met, she told me she was a widow and had no intentions of getting married again. 2 years later we got married. We also had a pretty extensive conversation about children. She has a son who is grown and living on his own, and she told me that one child was all she ever wanted. I have no kids and no desire to have children. I truly enjoy my freedom. My wife and I travel several times a year and I love just not having that responsibility of taking care of a child. I'm an uncle to 8 kids, that's enough for me. I can always pick them up and drop them right back off when it's time. We had multiple conversations about this early in our relationship, so I thought the matter was settled.
My wife's niece is 20 and has 4 kids, with another on the way. All different fathers.
The last 2 are twins. She is basically a deadbeat mom. The kids live with their grandmother, my wife's sister. As you can imagine, 4 kids is a lot to deal with. So apparently my wife and her sister hatched a plan to have my wife take one of the children. So not only has she changed her mind on the kid thing, she is taking one of the twins, splitting them up. Even if I was okay adopting/fostering a kid, I think splitting up twins is crazy. Even the DHS worker didn't like this idea. However, the 2 older boys, 5 and 3, are too attached to where they are now. So it's easier to deal with the twins as they are only 10 months old. I told my wife I was strongly against this. Having a kid will completely change our lifestyle, and I didn't sign up for this. Also, we live in an upper middle class neighborhood while the sister lives in one of the worst areas of the city. It's really messed up that one twin would have a privileged life while the other twin will grow up with very little resources. Also, where the hell is the kid going to sleep? We have 4 bedrooms. I tore down the connecting wall to one of the bedrooms and made a huge master suite. The second bedroom I turned into a massive walk-in closet for my wife, who is a clothes horse. And the last bedroom is my office. Although I have a day job, I also have my own business that needs a dedicated space for me to work from. The basement is my man cave. The house is set up for just the 2 of us. Even though the house is pretty big, we don't have room for another human. So despite my constantly telling her this didn't work for me, what does she do? She just shows up one day with the kid. I tried, y'all. I put together the crib and put it in the master suite. Have the car seat in my car, even went shopping for the boy. I.just.can't.do.it. Last weekend I wanted to go to the Virgin Islands just to get away. She can't go because DHS has the kid set up for therapy appointment. So I say okay, let's go to the shore before summer is over. She can't because she planned on taking the kid to see his brothers. I'm just done. I took my go bag to work with me and am planning on staying at an extended suites hotel. I understand she doesn't want the child in the system because it's too much of a burden on her sister. But I didn't make that baby, and I don't want to take care of any kids at all. Am I the asshole? The house is in my name, not hers, but I'm scared now, because if I leave she might have rights to my house. I just don't know WTF to do. I thought I had the perfect life with her and now it's just, I don't know. Sorry if this is long, I really needed to tell somebody and get this off my chest.
AITAH for saying I'm second-guessing having a baby with my husband after he asked for a paternity test. I, 26F, and my husband Alex, 27M, have been married for a year. Recently, I found out I was pregnant. This was not planned, however, ever since we got married we have not been using protection every time we got intimate, and I'm currently not on any birth control. My guess is that I'm only a few weeks along. I haven't seen a doctor yet. Anyway, I told him when he got back home from work yesterday. I personally was very happy about it because I've always wanted a mom. I was pretty sure I was all smiles when I told him, and I thought he would be too once he found out the news. Let me add that he's been neutral on having kids. My assumption was wrong. Immediately he gets super upset and asks how in the hell this could happen. I explained to him that while it was sudden, we hadn't been using protection every time, so it wasn't that surprising. I thought he would have understood. For some reason he didn't. After a few minutes of back and forth, he demanded a paternity test and told me there was no way it was his. I was hurt and insulted. Let me be very clear that I did not, and will never, cheat on my husband. I have also never given him any reason for him to be suspicious about me cheating on him either. I was so taken aback that he doubted my loyalty enough to ask for a paternity test. I told him I couldn't believe he was seriously asking me for that. He said that I wasn't helping my case, and that if I had nothing to hide, then I would take the test and prove my loyalty to him. I honestly can't remember all that I said, but I ended up saying something along the lines of, if you're doubting me and my loyalty so much that you think I cheated on you and got pregnant with someone else's baby, then I don't think I want one with you anymore. I don't want to be tied to someone who clearly doesn't trust me. He blew up at me and accused me of cheating once again. It was a big argument, and he said I was being shitty, dismissing his concerns, and saying that asking for a paternity test was valid. In the end, ! I agreed to the test, ! But said that I stood by my words. Had to highlight that because some people are saying that I didn't agree to it when I very much did. We haven't spoken since the argument and he's currently at work. I went to my friend for advice and she said that while he was out of line for accusing me of cheating, I shouldn't have said that to him over one of his valid concerns, and that clearly had a reason to feel that way about the situation. I cannot fathom made him feel like I was cheating on him. I was just so hurt that he would insult me like that and accuse me of doing something so disgusting when I thought we were supposed to have trust in each other. But AITA for saying what I did? AITAH for telling my fiancé that his best man sexually assaulted his little sister? Hi. 28 female here. I'm marrying my high school sweetheart 29 male in a little over a month and am in a difficult position. I could use some advice. My fiancé is the oldest of 3 and has a younger sister, 25F, and a younger brother, 23M. I'll call his sister Riley for the sake of this post, and I like her, but we're not especially close. I invited her to be one of my bachelorettes since my fiancé invited my 2 older brothers, and it seemed like the right thing to do. My bachelorette party was this past weekend. It was a lot of fun, but on the last night, Riley had way too much to drink. I walked her back to the hotel since she doesn't know my friends too well. On the way back, Riley started crying and said she didn't want to go to the wedding. I asked why, and she told me that my husband's best man, let's call him Paul, raped her when she was in 8th grade. Riley told me that my fiancé invited a bunch of guys over, including Paul, and she was literally asleep in her room when he came in and essayed her. She said she tried to forget about it, but our wedding is bringing up all these memories. Aside from me, the only person she's ever told is her boyfriend and best friend. She begged me not to tell anyone. I honestly don't think she'd have told me this if she hadn't been hammered. I don't even know if she remembered that she told me because she didn't bring it up the next morning and she treated me normally. I fully believe what Riley told me. I like my fiancé's friends, but Paul has always seemed a bit off to me. Once in college, a bunch of our high school friends went out drinking while we were all visiting for Christmas break. I was in the back seat of a car with Paul, and I couldn't get my belt buckled. I was very drunk. He buckled it for me, but then kept his arm wrapped around me for the entire drive. I was confused, since I was dating his best friend, and didn't know what to do. Today I'd tell him not to touch me. I kind of forgot this happened until Riley told me her story, and I went back and started thinking about all my interactions with Paul over the years. I'm now in a tough position because I don't want to share Riley's trauma with anyone since it's so personal. But I also feel uncomfortable with a rapist standing next to me while I say, I do, and making Riley see the man who violated her when she was younger. I also don't want to see Paul anymore at social events because he might be dangerous. I know if I tell my fiancé, he'll do the right thing and stick up for his little sister. He also might beat the shit out of Paul. I want Paul out of the wedding and out of our life, but I don't want to betray Riley's trust. AITAH for telling my fiancé? I feel horrible and don't know what the right thing to do is.